Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India, India's voice to the world. This is News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. Namaskar. Coming up in the next hour. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Khalid, hold bilateral talks. They discuss wide-ranging issues. A number of agreements and MOUs have been signed. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar co-chairs the India Gulf Cooperation Council Foreign Ministers meeting in Riyadh, and he calls for a ceasefire in Gaza. India's Finance Minister says new GOM on goods and services tax rate reduction on medical health insurance to be set up. The panel to submit a report by October end. Pakistan is on the edge. Thousands of supporters of the former Prime Minister Imran Khan protest in Islamabad. They demand his release. The White House race heats up. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump to face off on Tuesday. Harris says she's ready for Trump. Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India and the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Khalid bin Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, they held talks in New Delhi. And they expressed satisfaction at the substantial progress achieved in the India-UAE Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. India and the UAE have strong trade ties as well, with an aim to take non-oil bilateral trade to about $100 billion by 2030. Let's look at this report.
The bonhomie between the two leaders was clearly visible, taking India-UAE ties to new heights. A day after the Crown Prince Sheikh Khalid bin Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan of Abu Dhabi arrived in New Delhi, he met Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday. The two leaders expressed satisfaction over the substantial progress achieved in recent years in the India-UAE Comprehensive Strategic Partnership, and discussed opportunities to further widen and deepen the partnership in all areas of bilateral cooperation. They acknowledged that the success of the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement and the recent entry into force of the Bilateral Investment Treaty will provide further impetus to the strong economic and commercial partnership between the two countries. They also underscored the need to explore new areas of untapped potential, particularly in nuclear energy, critical minerals, green hydrogen, artificial intelligence, and cutting-edge technologies.
We've witnessed a 16% increase in trade, non-oil bilateral trade between the UAE and India, reaching over $50 billion, and we aim to make that around $100 billion by 2030.
Number of MOUs were signed during the visit, which set the stage for enhancing cooperation in traditional as well as new areas of cooperation. Among the various MOUs signed, the MOU on nuclear cooperation, the agreement for long-term LNG supply between Abu Dhabi National Civil Company and the Indian Oil Corporation Limited, the MOU between ADNOC and India Strategic Petroleum Reserve Limited, production concession aimed for Abu Dhabi onshore Block 1 between Urja Bharat and ADNOC, the MOU between Government of Gujarat and Abu Dhabi Development Holding Company on food parks development in India.
In terms of exports to the UAE, India equates to about $2.62 billion in terms of agriculture and its allied commodities during the financial year 2021 and 2022. Which is an increase of over 35%.
The Crown Prince later called on President Draupadi Murmu at the iconic Rashtrapati Bhavan, the official residence of the President of India in New Delhi. The discussions covered warm, historic and comprehensive ties between the two countries and several initiatives taken in recent years. President Murmu expressed her gratitude to the leadership of the UAE for hosting more than 3.5 million Indians. The Crown Prince later visited Rajghat and paid tributes to Mahatma Gandhi. He became the third generation leader from the UAE to plant a sapling at Rajghat. following his grandfather Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan, the former president of UAE, in 1992. His father, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, who is the current president, also planted a sapling in 2016. This was a unique and rare occasion, showcasing the generational continuity of strong relationship between the two countries. This is the first time in history of Rajghat that leaders from 3 generations of a country have planted trees honoring the Mahatma. On Tuesday, Crown Prince Sheikh Khalid bin Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan will be interacting with the Business Forum in India's financial capital Mumbai. Both countries are exploring new avenues for collaboration. This is Al Nahyan's first visit to India as a Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi. The UAE is among the top 4 investors in India, with stakes in infrastructure, energy and real estate.
Well, India's External Affairs Minister Jaishankar visited Riyadh in Saudi Arabia for the first ever India-GCC joint ministerial meeting for strategic dialogue. Now, the foreign ministers of all the GCC countries and the Secretary General of the GCC also attended. The EAM Jaishankar underscored the significance of the strategic and growing partnership between the Gulf Cooperation Council and India. Let's look at this report.
India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has stressed that India has consistently stood for the resolution of the Palestinian issue through a 2-state solution. While addressing the first India-Gulf Cooperation Council Foreign Ministers meeting in Saudi Arabia's capital Riyadh, Dr. Jaishankar called for a ceasefire in Gaza as soon as possible.
The current situation in Gaza is now understandably our foremost concern. India's position in this regard has been principled and consistent. While we condemn acts of terrorism and hostage-taking, we are deeply pained by the continuing death of innocent civilians. Any response must take into account the principles of humanitarian law. We support a ceasefire as soon as possible. On the larger issue, we have consistently stood for a resolution of the Palestinian issue through a 2-state solution.
The External Affairs Minister added that the relationship between India and the GCC is rooted in a rich tapestry of history, culture and shared values.
The GCC is a cornerstone of global energy supply. India is one of the world's largest and fastest growing markets. Much of the future demand is going to come from us. Our deeper collaboration will help in stabilizing markets, driving innovation, and enhancing energy security.
On Monday, Dr. Jaishankar also held a series of meetings with his GCC counterparts, during which he reviewed the progress in bilateral relations and discussed ways to further deepen them. Dr. Jaishankar held a meeting with Qatar's Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani on the margins of the GCC meeting. Dr. Jaishankar also met Saudi Arabia's Foreign Minister Faisal bin Farhan Al Saud. Both the leaders took stock of the progress in India-Saudi Arabia bilateral relations and shared perspective on global and regional issues. The External Affairs Minister said he looked forward to welcoming his Saudi Arabia counterpart in India. Dr. Jaishankar also met the Brazilian Foreign Minister Mauro Vieira. The discussions covered key multilateral issues including G20, BRICS and the ongoing Ukraine conflict. The External Affairs Minister also met his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov on the sidelines of the GCC meeting in Riyadh. He also met his Omani counterpart Badr al-Busaidi, Bahrain's Foreign Minister Dr. Abdullah bin Rashid al-Zayani and Kuwaiti Foreign Minister Abdullah Ali Al-Yahya. The GCC region has emerged as a major trading partner for India and is home to a large Indian expatriate community numbering around 8.9 million. After the Riyadh meetings, Dr. Jaishankar left for Germany. With Vinod Kumar, Bureau Report, DD India.
Well, India is gearing up for a groundbreaking 3-day event focused on the future of the semiconductor and semiconductor technology. Semicon India 2024. It kicks off in Greater Noida this Wednesday, bringing together industry leaders, experts and key government figures. With over 250 exhibitors from across the world, the event will position India as a potential global semiconductor hub. Here's a closer look at what's in store.
themed Shaping the Semiconductor Future, Semicon India 2024 is a landmark event that aims to boost India's semiconductor ecosystem. With support from the Ministry of Electronics and Information and Technology and the India Semiconductor Mission, the exhibition is set to showcase the country's strides in electronics and semiconductor development. But the event is about more than just technology. It is about positioning India as a future leader in semiconductor manufacturing. Even though India's semiconductor industry is still in its early stages, the government has big plans. Several new semiconductor plants are under construction, including facilities in Gujarat and Assam. The Modi government has committed over $1 billion to boost the semiconductor and display manufacturing industry, with the aim of making India a self-reliant global power in this critical sector.
When Modi ji rolled out his vision about semiconductor nation, and subsequently then there were policies announced by very important two ministers, Ashwini Vaishnav-ji and Rajiv Chandrasekhar-ji. They really thought through what India should do about semiconductor.
The Indian government's production-linked incentive scheme is a major driver behind this push, attracting investments and creating jobs. This industry has the potential to create 25,000 direct and 75,000 indirect jobs in the coming years. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also on many occasions emphasized how important semiconductor production is for India's long-term technology goals.
So far, as you know, we have had very good traction. So, first project was Micron, which was approved. It's an ATMP. It is approved for almost 22,000 crores. And then came the Tata Fab. They are partnering with Taiwan foundry, one of the major foundry players, TSMC. And also Tata is coming up with one OSAT facility in Assam. Also CG Power is coming up with a OSAT facility in Gujarat. And their technology partner is Renesas Japan, which is a big name in semiconductors.
Semiconductors power everything from smartphones to cars. As India accelerates its manufacturing plans, this industry could be key to reducing import and India's dependency on other countries for this critical technology and in turn boosting local production. Dibyendu Mondal's report for DD India.
Well, after the GST Council meeting, the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman at a press conference said that the group of ministers on rate rationalization and the group of ministers on real estate submitted their status reports on Monday. And the minister said that the revenue from online gaming has increased by 412% at 6,909 crore rupees in 6 months. The minister also said that the new group of ministers on medical and health insurance has been set up.
There were two status reports to be submitted. I'll start with them. One is the GOM, the group of ministers, on the rate rationalization, and the other is the GOM on real estate, both of whom had to submit or present a status report to the council, post which these discussions can happen subsequently. A status on, if many of you all will recollect, we had taken this decision on the casinos, online gaming and horse race. And at that time, we said after the notification and after its implementation, 6 months after that, we will come up with a status. So even that status on online gaming and casinos was also presented to the council. I just want to give you one nugget from that online and casino-based status which was submitted to the council. The revenue from online gaming has increased by 412%. That is, it has reached 6,909 crores. Just for 6 months, I'm giving you the figure. this amount, 6909 crore, is earned in a period of 6 months. 2 new GOMs have been decided. One is on the medical and health insurance. It will be the rate rationalization GOM headed by the Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar, but with newer members added for this limited purpose. The rate rationalization GOM under the Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar will be doing its job, but under his leadership, with newer members who have volunteered for the limited purpose of medical health insurance related GST. We have told them that they will look into this matter and come with a report by end of October.
Still to come here on DD India News Hour. The US presidential debate is set for Tuesday. Imran Khan's supporters take to the streets. They want the former Prime Minister released. Mario Draghi says that the EU requires plenty more investments to stay competitive.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. The highly anticipated US presidential debate is set for Tuesday, with Kamala Harris and Donald Trump poised to face off in what's expected to be a global spectacle. The 90-minute debate, organized by ABC News, will take place at the National Constitution Center in Philadelphia at 9 p.m. local time. Pre-written notes are prohibited and mics will be muted to ensure a fair exchange. Polls indicate a tight race, making this debate crucial in shaping voters' opinions. Syed Absarul Hassan reports.
The much-awaited US presidential television debate will take place on Tuesday. Presidential hopefuls Kamala Harris and Donald Trump will lock horns, which is expected to be watched across the world. US broadcaster ABC News will be holding the 90-minute debate at National Constitution Center in Philadelphia at 9 p.m. local time and will be aired live. The two candidates have never met in person. US presidential hopeful Kamala Harris is ready to face her opponent Donald Trump in the debate.
Trump wants to jail election workers. Madam Vice President, do you have a reaction?
Madam Vice President, how will you handle it on the debate stage if Trump decides to launch a personal attack?
Are you ready, Madam Vice President?
Ready.
Former US President and Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump continued his attack on Kamala Harris and accused her to be the worst vice president in the history of the United States.
This wealth fund will return a gigantic profit, which will help pay down national debt. We're going to work on national debt very strongly, by the way. We're going to have so much money coming in. We're going to work on national debt. We're close to $36 trillion right now. We're going to work on getting it down. And it is many of the people in this room who will be helping to advise and recommend investments for this fund. This is how we will end the era of inflation, mayhem, and misery under Kamala Harris, the worst vice president in the history of our country.
Donald Trump has been...
The rule of the debate is different from other television debates. No opening statements are allowed, but they will be allotted 2 minutes to answer each question, with 2 minutes granted to their opponents for a rebuttal, and there will be an additional minute for a follow-up, clarification and response against the rebuttal. Pre-written notes and materials are not allowed in the debate. Candidates are given a pen and paper to note down their questions and comments. Questions or topics are not shared in advance with any candidates, and mic of one of the candidate will be muted when the other is speaking. According to polls released, the US presidential race remains neck and neck. Syed Absarul Hassan reporting for DD India.
Well, and from Gerald Ford's catastrophic Soviet gaffe to Ronald Reagan's witty remark about his age, and then Joe Biden's infamous implosion, the US presidential debates have featured jaw-dropping moments. Here's a report mentioning some of the most memorable ones in modern US politics.
Iconic gaffes, scandals and chaotic moments. This all is not new during US presidential debates. Sweaty Nixon, Kennedy. On September 26, 1960, a first televised debate of its kind, Republican Richard Nixon looked poised to win the election, but the debate did not go well for him. Nixon refused to wear makeup and appeared pale and sweaty, while young Massachusetts Senator John F. Kennedy looked tanned and relaxed. While Nixon addressed the moderator, Kennedy looked at the camera, speaking directly to his voters. Kennedy went on to defeat Nixon at the polls. Ford versus Carter. In the year 1976, the first debate between Republican President Gerald Ford and Democratic challenger Jimmy Carter was marked by a 27-minute loss of audio. The second debate didn't go well for Ford either, when he made a gaffe on Cold War that arguably cost him the presidency. Reagan versus Mondale. Republican President Ronald Reagan was 73 when he ran for the second term against 56-year-old Walter Mondale, but he turned his age into his strength with a witty answer that went down in history. Bush versus Clinton versus Perot. The second presidential debate in the 1992 race pitted incumbent President George Bush against both his future successor Bill Clinton and Ross Perot, an independent candidate. Bush was caught on camera looking at his watch while Clinton talked to an audience member during a town hall debate. Years later, Bush admitted he hated debates. Obama versus Romney. In the year 2012, a debate against President Barack Obama, Republican challenger Mitt Romney lamented that the U.S. Navy had fewer ships presently than it did in 1916. Obama's reply stunned the opponent and the comments went viral. Trump versus Clinton. The second debate of the 2016 U.S. presidential election pitting Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump was particularly vicious, coming shortly after the release of a video in which Trump was heard boasting that his fame allowed him to grope women. The Republican billionaire went after his opponent's husband, former President Bill Clinton, accusing him of being so abusive to women. Trump versus Biden. The first debate of the 2020 presidential election featuring Trump and Democrat Joe Biden devolved into shouting and insults, with Trump constantly interrupting him. Bureau Report, DD India.
Well, we regret the error in that story where we showed the visual of George W. Bush when we intended to, in fact, to show the visual of his father. Let's move on to the next story. Thousands of supporters of the jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan rallied in Islamabad calling for his release. Organized by Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party, this demonstration marks their first major show of strength since the disputed February elections. The rally, initially scheduled for July, was postponed to September 8th due to permit issues. Let's look at this report.
Islamabad is experiencing mounting unrest on daily basis as supporters of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party rally for the release of their leader Imran Khan. On Sunday, thousands took to the streets of Islamabad in the largest demonstration since Khan's incarceration last year on multiple charges.
Listen, Pakistanis. If in 1 to 2 weeks Imran will not be released legally, then I swear to God, we will release Imran Khan ourselves. Are you ready? Are you ready to get our rights? I will lead you all. I will get the first bullet. I will be in front of you. Do not turn back.
Originally planned for July, the protest was postponed after the district administration denied permission. Although rescheduled for the 22nd of August, it was further pushed to 8th of September by local authorities. Despite these delays, the large turnout underscores PTI's enduring mobilization strength as protesters removed containers blocking major roads leading into Islamabad.
We are here today to raise the voice against the poor people who are suffering with gas bills, electricity bills, and who cannot send their little small children to the school. And also, the main reason of our coming here to this get-together is to bring our leader back.
Imran Khan ousted from power following a parliamentary no-confidence vote and a fallout with the military has alleged that the army is behind what he describes as politically motivated charges against him, a claim the military has denied. Amish Mahajan's report for DD India.
Well, Israel has secured its border crossing between the West Bank and Jordan, where 3 Israeli guards were killed by a truck driver who opened fire before being eliminated by security forces. The deadly attack at the Allenby Bridge crossing has raised fears of the Israel-Hamas conflict's spillover. The attack came amid surging violence in the West Bank. In his long-awaited report on European Union competitiveness, Mario Draghi has urged the member states to provide the Union with more coordinated industrial policy, rapid decisions and massive investment to be able to keep pace economically with the United States and China. Draghi said that the bloc needed additional investment of $829 to $884 billion per year. That's up 5% of GDP, far higher than the 1 to 2% of the Marshall Plan for rebuilding Europe after World War II.
The investment share will have to rise by around 5 percentage points of GDP to levels last seen in the 60s and the 70s. I always like to make a comparison. The additional investment provided by the Marshall Plan between 48 and 51 amounted to 2% of GDP.
Well, let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Celebrating the 2nd anniversary of King Charles's accession to the throne, the King's Troop Royal Horse Artillery fired a 41-gun salute in Hyde Park near London's Buckingham Palace on Monday. The day marks the beginning of Charles's reign and 2 years since the death of his mother, Queen Elizabeth II. In the worst drought in southern Africa in a century, villagers in Malawi are foraging for wild roots and tubers to eat as their crops lie scorched in the fields. People are dependent on mapama that has to be cooked for 8 hours to remove the toxins. Dozens of dogs were on the water in Del Mar in San Diego on Sunday, taking part in the longest-running canine surf competition in the States. Dogs wearing costumes and goggles rode their surfboats as owners cheered them on. In the Helen Woodward Animal Center, that's an animal shelter, it hosts the 19th annual Dog Surfathon. Still to come here on DD India News Hour, we'll discuss the outcomes of the UAE Crown Prince's visit to India. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn, and now let's introduce you to Anil Kumar Thrigunayat, a former senior diplomat who is joining us from Gurugram to talk to us about India-UAE ties and how they are being boosted by the visit of the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi to India. Ambassador Thrigunayat, what do you read into cooperation in nuclear energy? This is a new area.
Well, as you know, Mark, that India and UAE relationship is a truly strategic partnership. UAE remains our third largest trading partner, the fourth largest investor in India. The kind of exchanges that have taken place at the highest level is unprecedented. Prime Minister Modi been there to UAE at least 6 times, and the President Mohammed bin Zayed has been here at least 4 times. So now the visit of the Crown Prince also is a continuation of the same process to take the relationship forward. You know, earlier we used to have this called as transactional partnership. Today is a strategic partnership. In this strategic partnership, there are new areas and domains of cooperation that emerge, of which the nuclear energy, the space cooperation, the cyber security cooperation, defense and other areas come along. And therefore, in this one, this agreement that has been signed between the Emirates Nuclear Energy Corporation and the Nuclear Power Corporation of India regarding this one of the plants, which is called Bharat Nuclear Power Plant. I think it is very important that this is a new area in which we can continue to work. As you know, there is a South Korean company that has set up one of the nuclear power plant, and these countries are diversifying their energy mix, going more towards the renewable energies or alternate energy sources, especially after that UAE has also hosted the COP28 last year.
But looking at traditional energy sources as well, I mean, the agreement for long-term supply of LNG is for 1 million metric tons per annum. And it's the third such contract, in fact, this year. What does this signal about this type of energy cooperation?
Well, as far as India is concerned, you know that for us, the uninterrupted and reliable source of energy supplies, especially the LNG, is extremely important, because LNG also helps in weaning away from the problems that the crude material or the other oil has. So therefore, India is also diversifying itself, and therefore, in order to continue to grow at least 7-8%, you require these assured supplies. And I'm happy that we have signed this agreement. We had earlier signed it with Qatar as well. And so this agreement, which is with the ADNOC, which is the major company in UAE, I think that is something that's very important for us. Of course, India continues to diversify its own energy mix, as you know, through different sources. But at least for next 15-20 years, we require both oil and gas, and for which assured supplies will be needed.
And there's also an MOU between ADNOC and ISPRL, or the India Strategic Petroleum Reserve Limited. And this is for storage. So this is also important when we look at, the possibilities of how to improve our storage capacities and management.
Yes, Mark. In fact, with the UAE is the only country, in fact, which has been engaged with us for nearly 5-6 years now for creating India's increased capacities for petroleum reserves. And this particular MOU will seek to expand that capacity, which is absolutely essential in today's time and age when there is so much of uncertainty and global flux is witnessed.
A final view also on the MOU on food parks. What's the potential for agricultural cooperation? The CEPA. The CEPA Council president was saying in the story that we ran that they were looking for to try and non-oil trade to move it from $50 billion to $100 billion by 2030. So what kind of role do you think agriculture is going to play?
Well, you know that between India and the West Asia and the GCC countries, especially with the UAE now in this regard, the food and energy security are complementary in many ways. For example, India needs the energy security from these regions. They require food security. But our food security is also dependent on the fertilizers that come from the Middle East to India. And therefore, it is very important. And as you know, under the I2U2, which was a grouping which was called as West Asian Quad at one time, under that, UAE had also allocated $2 billion for creating food parks. So food security for them is also absolutely important. And this particular MOU that has been signed between Gujarat and Abu Dhabi Development Authority, I think that these are going to be is a continuation of the process in which they are securing their own food supplies. Besides, we are also working with these countries in third countries, let's say in Africa, with the technology and the expertise that India has in the agricultural domain, and these countries have the financial heft. And so therefore we can combine these synergies for mutual benefit. And so I think these are very, very important, both energy and the food security, and the agreements that have been signed are essentially aiming at that, including the one which is very important. I think UAE is the only country in the Middle East that has provided us that is the concession for Indian companies in the ADNOC owned these gas fields and production for the production licenses.
So we have a comprehensive economic partnership agreement. It's been 2 years running since this agreement came into force, and there's also a bilateral investment treaty. It looks like trade is crucial for this relationship, and it's really growing, and they are very invested in it. You can see that the Crown Prince is going to go to Mumbai tomorrow, and in fact they have been looking at almost every part of India to try and improve business ties.
Well, in fact, you will be, I'm sure many of your viewers would know that India has over 8,000 companies that are working in the UAE. Right. There are more than 3.3 million Indians who are there. 1/3 of the total Indians are living in the UAE, and UAE welcomes them and also appreciates their contribution. And a large number of them are also white-collar, professionals in the country, and entrepreneurs and others. So India has invested much more than the UAE has invested in India, in fact. That's as per the available statistics. But of course, they are looking to increase more investments in their country, which could be mutually beneficial. And that's the reason that we see that economy is always a crux of any relationship. And when there is a mutual benefit for both sides, then that relationship sustains much better.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much, Ambassador Anil Kumar Trigunayat. Thank you for enlightening us on India-UAE ties. Now, the Gati Shakti University, it's a unique university. It specializes in national development, particularly training personnel for infrastructure sectors like the railways, shipping, as well as highways. Now, the Indian Armed Forces, that's the Army and the Air Force, they've signed an MOU with the Gati Shakti University to strengthen the logistics capabilities of the armed forces. DD India correspondent Vishal Barristow reports.
Indian Army and Air Force signed a memorandum of understanding with Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya in India's Vadodara. This was signed to enhance the skills and capability building of their personnel. Speaking on the occasion, India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh described the collaboration as a monumental partnership towards further strengthening the logistics backbone of the armed forces in sync with the vision of self-reliance in defence sector.
जब हम रक्षा क्षेत्र में आत्मनिर्भर भारत की बात करते हैं, तो इस आत्मनिर्भरता से हमारा आशय यह होता है कि हमारी सेनाओं की जो ज़रूरतें हैं, उनकी पूर्ति हमारे खुद के साधनों से हो। जैसे यदि हम लॉजिस्टिक्स के लिए एक्सपर्टीज की ज़रूरत है, तो उसकी ट्रेनिंग हमें हमारे अपने गति शक्ति विश्वविद्यालय से ही मिले। यदि हमें इक्विपमेंट चाहिए, तो वह भी हमें भारत की इंडस्ट्री द्वारा ही निर्मित किए हुए मिले। हमारा स्पष्ट मानना है कि एक सशक्त भारत की नींव आत्मनिर्भर होकर ही रखी जा सकती है।
Minister of Railways Ashwini Vaishnav said that Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya will serve as a vital partner in empowering the armed forces with cutting-edge logistics, education, research and innovation.
The entire theme by which this university is being developed is every line item of the course curriculum should be industry focused. This will cover aeronautics, this will cover railway, this will cover warehousing, ground logistics and marine sectors to begin with, and then we will focus on getting into the deeper things like submarines and other.
Gati Shakti is first of its kind university aiming to fulfill the mandate of the national development plans across railways, shipping and highways.
Many case studies in the field, the real world challenges will be addressed by Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya jointly with Indian Army and Indian Air Force through this MOU. How it will help our students is when we interface with Indian Army and Indian Air Force, which has a wealth of knowledge and experience, our students will have possibility to do internship in Indian Army, Indian Air Force. Therefore, it will help prepare them to be a good citizen, it will help prepare them to be disciplined citizen, it will help prepare them to face the real world challenges as India becomes Viksit Bharat.
The Memorandum of Understanding will enable the two services to acquire higher expertise on logistics and will ensure development of in-house expertise on various facets of logistics operations and contribute effectively towards the National Development Plans, PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan 2021 and National Logistics Policies 2022.
This MOU is not only a stepping stone towards a self-reliant armed forces of the country, but also underlines the importance of logistics in our national security. With cameraman Vinay Tiwari, this is Vishal Baristo for DD India, Delhi.
On Monday, India's Electronics and Information Technology Minister Ashwini Vaishnav announced that HP Inc. and Padet Electronics have signed an MOU for manufacturing HP laptops, personal computers and all-in-ones at a factory in Tamil Nadu. The new plant will be set up by HP and Padet, will initially employ about 1,500 people and production as it increases, the employment is also going to increase.
HP Inc. and Padet Electronics have signed an MOU today for manufacturing HP laptops, personal computers and all-in-ones at a factory in Tamil Nadu. This is a major success for the PLI scheme under Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji's Make in India program.
So let's take a look at other stories making the news. In a landmark event, India's Chief of Defence Staff, General Anil Chauhan, he released the joint doctrine for amphibious operations during the Chiefs of Staff Committee meeting on Monday in New Delhi. And this doctrine is a keystone publication which will provide guidance to the commanders for conduct of amphibious operations in today's complex military environment. In another landmark event, this is for India's defence sector as well, the Vice Chiefs of the Indian Army, Navy and Air Force, they made history on Monday. They all flew in the indigenous manufactured light combat aircraft Tejas, and their joint participation in this exercise demonstrates the growing focus on cross-domain cooperation with land, sea and air forces working together to face modern challenges. The Governor of India's northeastern state of Tripura, Indrasena Reddy Nallu, conferred degrees on students of Tripura University during the 13th convocation ceremony in Agartala on Monday. In Delhi, the Waqf Board money laundering case, Delhi's Roos Avenue Court has remanded the Aam Aadmi Party MLA Amanatullah Khan to judicial custody till September 23. He was arrested on the 2nd of this month by the Enforcement Directorate. Now, still to come here on DD India News Hour. In Nigeria, at least 48 people were killed in a fuel tanker truck explosion. The Amazon in Brazil is facing one of its most severe droughts. And the Indian hockey team wins big against Japan. watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. Well, the fourth edition of the Global Renewable Energy Investors Meet and Expo, the fourth Reinvest. It's going to be held from the 16th to the 18th of September 2024 at Mahatma Mandir in Gandhinagar in Gujarat. And the Union Minister for New and Renewable Energy, Prasar Joshi, took stock of the preparations. Tapas Bhattacharya reports.
India's premier renewable energy event, Reinvest 2024, will kickstart from September 16 to 18th at Mahatma Mandir, Gandhinagar, Gujarat. This is the fourth edition of the Global Renewable Energy Investors Meet and Expo that will showcase the latest in renewable energy innovation, bringing together global leaders, investors and experts.
And this Investor Meet, first time it is being organized out of Delhi. Otherwise, all other three, one virtually, two physically, they were organized in Delhi itself. The first ever conference, it is being held here, and 16th, this is being inaugurated by Honorable Prime Minister of the country.
Union Minister of New and Renewable Energy Prasar Joshi reviewed the preparations for the fourth Global Renewable Energy Investors Meet and Expo. During his visit, he closely monitored the progress and ensured that all arrangements are on track for the upcoming event.
This RE Investor Meet has been organized in Gandhinagar from 16th to 18th. RE Invest 2024 aims to highlight the India's significant achievement in the renewable energy sector, including the manufacturing and development, deployment. This will also help because many other representatives of the various countries, बाकी देशों से भी लोग, industry leaders, ministers, delegations आ रहा है, इसीलिए this will help to connect the global investor community with Indian energy stakeholders.
The conference will span 2.5 days, featuring around 50 sessions on the latest trends, technologies and policies in renewable energy. With over 200 exhibitors, the expo will showcase groundbreaking products and services offering unmatched network opportunities. Tapas Bhattacharya's report for DD India.
In Nigeria, at least 48 people were killed in a fuel tanker truck explosion on Sunday following a collision with another truck in north-central Nigeria. The truck was carrying travelers and cattle, while several other vehicles were also caught in the accident. Now, what's happened is that Nigeria's state-owned firm NNPC Limited last week had hiked the price of gasoline by at least 39%. That's the second major increase in more than a year, but shortages have continued, forcing motorists to queue up for hours, and this is in the country's major cities and towns. The Amazon in Brazil is facing one of its most severe droughts in recent years. Water levels in the rivers have fallen, and access to clean water has become an uphill task for locals. Here's more.
In the heart of the Brazilian Amazon, a drought is putting lives at risk. The usually lush and vibrant region is facing an unprecedented water crisis as rivers dry up. Residents are struggling as they have to walk miles to fetch water. The plummeting water levels in rivers have deprived them of their traditional source of water. Now they are forced to buy tanks. The costs are taking a toll on the already impoverished rural community.
Without water, nobody lives. There is no way. Here, you can get water day and night. There is always water. I don't charge a penny. I pay for the water, but I don't charge them anything.
The elderly and sick are amongst the hardest hit, facing severe health risks as access to clean water becomes increasingly scarce.
About 800 meters, that's the distance of the beach. Now imagine a person in the hot sun, people with high blood pressure doing this journey. It gets difficult, very difficult. That is why we saw the need to mobilize.
The drought has been aggravated by wildfires, deforestation and rising temperatures. To make the situation worse, the Brazilian Geological Service has warned that water levels in more rivers in the Amazon basin are expected to hit historical lows. Bureau Report, DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for the sports news. Well, India concluded its stint at the Paris Paralympics with its greatest ever medal haul, bagging 29 medals in all, 7 of them gold, 9 silver and 13 bronze medals. In the process, India created many records as well. Let's look at this report.
A record-breaking Paralympic Games came to an end with a glittering medal haul for India, boasting a total number of 29 medals at the Paris Paralympics, surpassing all previous records. Beginning with Avani Lekhra's gold medal on the shooting range and ending with Navdeep's javelin gold, everything in between was historic as India's para-athletes scripted the country's greatest ever Paralympics campaign. Avani Lekhra became the first Indian woman to win 2 gold medals at the Paralympic Games as she defended her title in women's 10-meter air rifle standing SH1 shooting event with a world record score. India also recorded a 1-2 in athletics for the first time ever as Dharamveer and Pranav Surma clinched gold and silver in men's club throw F51 event. With this, Dharamveer also set a new Asian record of 34.92 meters. On the other hand, Praveen Kumar logged an Asian record to win the high jump T64 title and fetched India's 6th gold, which is their highest ever at the Paralympics. If you talk about javelin, ace javelin thrower Sumit Antil made history as the first Indian man to defend his title at the Paralympics, winning gold in men's javelin throw F64 with a stunning throw of 70.59 meters along with a new Paralympic record. With a bronze in the high jump T42 class, Mariampan Thangavelu also became the first Indian to win medals at 3 consecutive Paralympics edition. On the other hand, Preeti Pal also secured a bronze in women's 100-meter T35 race with a personal best time. It was also India's first ever medal in a track event at the Paralympics. In all, India won 4 medals in track events at Paris 2024 and 5 in para-badminton. If we talk about athletics, Deepti Jivanji became the first intellectually impaired Indian athlete to win a Paralympic medal with a bronze in women's 400-meter T20 class. Para-archer Sheetal Devi teamed up with Rakesh Kumar to achieve a world record score in the compound mixed team qualification event. And at just 17 years old, Sheetal went on to make history as India's youngest Paralympic medalist, securing bronze in mixed team event alongside Rakesh. Later, India found their first ever Paralympic archery champion in Harvinder Singh. And apart from so many records being created and broken, India ended on a high note with Navdeep Singh's gold medal, which was upgraded from a silver. The teams were given a rousing welcome on their arrival back home. With a stupendous score of 29, India's Paralympics contingent has now set a new benchmark in international arenas. Deepika Mehta's report for DD India.
And India's deaf shooters returned from Germany with 20 medals at the World Deaf Shooting Championship 2024. The Indian deaf shooters, their remarkable performance earned them 7 gold medals, creating several world records en route. And Abhishek Prasad has this report.
Indian deaf shooters received a rousing welcome with drums and garlands at the Indira Gandhi International Airport, New Delhi, after returning with 20 medals at the World Deaf Shooting Championship 2024 in Hanover, Germany. India finished at the 2nd spot behind Ukraine, winning 7 gold, 7 silver and 6 bronze medals. Abhinav Deshwal won 5 medals, while Mahit Sandhu won 4 medals. 17-year-old Abhinav was honoured by the organisers for a rich haul of 2 gold and 3 silver medals, while 16-year-old Anuya Prasad was the other shooter to be honoured by the organisers for being the youngest athlete. Mahit Sandhu broke records as the Chandigarh shooter clinched 3 golds and a silver. Apart from these, Dhanush Shrikant won 2 gold medals, while Natasha Joshi, Shubham Vashisht, Shaurya Saini, Mohammad Murtaza Vania, Pranjali Dhumal won 2 medals each.
I have won a bronze medal in individual 10-meter air rifle and silver in mixed team in air rifle with my partner, that is Mohammad. And my experience so far was so good, so elated. I'm feeling so happy that I have at least achieved one milestone of my life, because winning a medal at international level was one of my dreams. So I'm really feeling happy for it.
I have my eyes set on Los Angeles Olympics, which will be held in 2028. I am trying my best and putting effort day in and day out. I have been training very hard in Hyderabad. My coaches and family are helping me during this time to achieve my dream. I want to compete and represent India and also win a medal at Los Angeles Olympics.
The parents of these shooters were very happy and proud of their awards for bringing glory to the nation. These shooters face unique challenges in their daily lives, such as communicating with coaches and teammates, but time and again they have shown remarkable resilience and determination. Deaf shooting is gaining recognition in India, with more deaf athletes taking up the sport and competing at national and international levels.
Sports is that one thing which often unites us as human. Deaf and hard of hearing athletes have been an influential figures in our sporting history. A record 20 medals and a second place finish is a testimony of their abilities and talent, and proves that nothing is impossible if we have the will and desire to win the world. With cameraman Mohit and sign language interpreter Manisha Sharma, Abhishek Prasad for DD India.
Well, India hammered Japan 5-1 in their Asian Champions Trophy fixture at the Moki Hockey Training Base in Hulunbur in China on Monday. Sukhjit and Abhishek opened the scoring for India in the first quarter, and then Sanjay made it 3-0 in the second quarter. Japan equalized Japan scored a goal in the third quarter, but then when it looked like there was a glimmer of hope for Japan, it came crashing down in the final quarter. Uttam made it 4-1 in the final quarter, and then Sukhjit completed the brace in the dying seconds. 5-1 for India. The world number one, Yannick Sinner, produced a brilliant display of baseline power as he became the first Italian man to win a US Open title, with a win over American Taylor Fritz in the final on Sunday. The world number one, Sinner, has secured his second Grand Slam title of 2024, shattering the American hopes of a first male champion at the majors in 21 years. Sinner secured a powerful 6-3, 6-4, 7-5 victory over Fritz. The 23-year-old broke for a sixth time in the contest to wrap up the win, with Fritz swiping a forehand into the net on match point. Well, that's all we have in this edition of DD India News Hour, but let's know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. That app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code and download it. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. My name is Mark Lin. From all of us here in Delhi, thank you very much for watching DD India News Hour. Namaskar.